So there's this idea, which might actually be a misconception, that most of the people drawn to our flag are of a younger generation and very online. I think there even was a Parrot Analytics thing that said 50% of our flag viewers were under the age of 25. Our guest this week will blow these demographic misconceptions out of the water. Tanya Dixon loves our flag, watches it on repeat like a lot of Gen Z and millennials do. She's a huge Blackbeard fan, but isn't part of the online fandom and is of a demographic that you don't typically associate with our flag fandom. She's of a more mature generation and she's a white hetero woman. She only found out about the show after being on the picket line during our Flag Day. She saw the excitement around it. David Jenkins was there, Samba was there. She gave it a watch and now she's hooked. It makes me wonder, what if Max had actually tried to market this show decently and attempted to reach a wider demographic? Could it have reached more Gen X and more boomer audiences? I think you'll be fascinated by this conversation. Have a listen. I am here with Tanya Dixon.
Hi, Carly.
Tanya is my friend, actor, and writer and picket line friend, and we bonded over Our Flag Means Death.
And also my extreme love for Blackbeard.
Yes.
Oh, I mean,
you love Blackbeard so
Blackbeard.
much.
I love
so
him
we're
so
going
much.
to talk about Blackbeard on this episode.
Okay.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this the Ed Teach episode.
Okay.
And then we're actually recording a second episode on Saturday where we're going to talk about like the history of Blackbeard and all of that. But first, I want to start with something that we've been doing on the podcast, which is tell us the most gay pirate thing that happened to you this week, Tanya. You have two stories, I know.
I have two stories, Carly.
Tell the magical story first, because I love this story so much.
This is wonderful. So as Carly knows, like Carly, we're crazy animal girls. And I'm a volunteer at a ranch, and it's out in the country, and there's coyotes like in our neighborhoods. And we have ranch kitties, two of them, Garfield and Gypsy Rose. They go in their little kitty bedroom in the barn every day at 3:00. They don't come out till around 9 to protect them. And last week, a coyote came up at 10:00 in the morning with a horse in the cross tie with a couple volunteers and attacked Gypsy.
This is such a scary story. I love coyotes. And I love coyotes
I love coyotes too. You know, I hit like on all your coyote posts.
Yeah,
I do.
If you follow me on Instagram, you know, I post a lot of photos and videos of coyotes.
It's just the nature of the beast of our world right now where look, this was supposed to be the ranch hand that intervened said he thought this was a mommy coyote. So that's even more heartbreaking. But
she's just trying to feed her kids.
She's just trying to feed her kids.
Also, we were attached to your food. We're emotionally attached.
We love your food. And Gypsy was right by her bedroom in the barn, and the coyote attacked her. Luckily, a ranch hand was coming around in a golf cart and intervened with a pitchfork or something. The coyote ran off. The coyote was not injured, dropped Gypsy, but Gypsy is a teeny tiny black and white cat. And Garfield, our big orange tabby that looks like his namesake, was there watching the whole thing. And they're old. They've been around there for years. They're very savvy with the area. But on this day, it came out of nowhere at 10 a.m. with people and a horse around. Gypsy took off. The coyote did have a chance to shake her. So we were afraid she would crawl off and quite literally die. Garfield took off too. We spent the whole day looking for them. No, not to be found anywhere. And in the evening, about 5:00, we were getting very, very concerned. And
they weren't coming home.
They were not coming home. And they're bell trained. So when we ring the bell at 3 or 4 o'clock, ding, 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 they're right there, ready to go in their bedroom, which is a stall in the barn, which is a very nice stall. Didn't happen. So we all had split up multiple times. There's a corner of the ranch by the tack room in their barn where it is the burial site of a beloved ranch dog named Cooper. Cooper was this beautiful giant, gentle giant. He was a French Mastiff. And everybody at the ranch called him my boyfriend. I had a special bond. He followed me everywhere. He'd meet me at my car. He'd hear my truck from halfway up the barn. He'd walk me to my car every night. He's got a cross on his burial site in the corner, and there's a giant wind chime that's huge. And it says, "If you need me, just whisper."
Oh my gosh.
I might have left that part out.
No, you told me the story before, and
Yeah.
you didn't tell me this thing it says, "If you need me,
just whisper."
Just whisper. Oh my God.
I know.
Oh my God.
And
you guys can tell where this is going, right?
Yeah, you see where this is going. Backstory was necessary because in that moment I've been a volunteer there 8.5 years. And as life is, I've seen a lot of animals that, we've lost some out of just old age. We recently lost our senior llama, and it's heartbreaking. You love them like your own. And I looked at Cooper's cross, and I said, "Cooper," I said, "please help us find these kitties. Please show me the kitties." Meow. That quick. And I turned, and across from Cooper's grave at the cross, there is a tree at the end of the tack room. And at the base of the tree, curled around the tree, was little Gypsy.
Oh my gosh.
In that instant, as I'm dashing over to her with no wind in the air, the wind chime started.
Oh my gosh.
I know. And I went over
from beyond the grave.
And he didn't leave then, because as I knelt down to her, and she was alive and her head was up, but she couldn't get up. So I'm texting everybody because we're all over the property looking. And as everyone came up to gather and we got a berry kennel to put her in, everyone was like, "How did you find her? I've walked by this spot like a million times today," as we all have. And I said, "I didn't find her. Cooper did." And just then the wind chime went again.
Oh,
and one of the girls who might not, I don't even know if she believes in any of this spiritual type of thing, but she went, "It's not even windy. Why are the wind chimes blowing?" And I said, "Because it's Cooper."
Oh, our friends and our little pet friends are with us.
They're our angels
beyond the grave.
And okay, so good news. Gypsy is doing quite well. She didn't break anything. There was no internal bleeding. She's limping a little, but she's eating and she's doing good. We couldn't find Garfield. And that night he left the bedroom. I call it their bedroom, but it's the barn door open to their kitty bedroom. And it was about 10 o'clock at night. Garfield showed up, and they both stayed. Now they're both really right there looking out for each other, but they are both safe. And I like to think that Cooper led Garfield back too.
Yeah.
Because Cooper loved the cats. He hung out the cats, the pig, So Cooper guided me to her.
That's so beautiful. And it also makes me think of my friend Karen, who actually had the same exact birthday as I do. September 2nd, which is a big our flag day.
Yeah.
You guys know September 2nd. So Karen was also a September 2nd baby. And Karen died a few years ago. And her big thing was she would always do a Donald Duck impression. And that is the biggest thing I remember about her all the time. She did this perfect Donald Duck impression. And she was really into ducks. And so I find when that Karen makes me remember her when she shows me ducks in unusual places. And if anyone has listened to the most recent Cryptid Factor with Reese Darby, there is a little moment in the latest Cryptid Factor episode where Reese experiences an earthquake while they're recording the podcast. And then he pulls up on his app that he sees the earthquake was centered kind of near Disneyland. And Reese does this thing where he pretends to call Disneyland, and Donald Duck picks up the phone and he does a Donald Duck impersonation. And that just made me have a little moment where I'm like, oh, Karen's saying hi. Karen made the earthquake and made Reese Darby do a Donald Duck impression for me.
I have no doubt. I have no doubt.
I know, right?
Little fun fact to the side.
Yeah.
We have a new duck at the ranch.
Oh.
A coyote attacked it.
Oh.
I know. See, the coyotes I feel bad for them. They're hungry.
I know. They're just hungry. And we're encroaching on their land.
We're on their land.
Yeah.
But it was somebody's pet duck. Her wings are clipped. This just happened. So I haven't had a chance to tell you about it. So we now have a duck that we're nursing back to health.
Oh my God.
In the stall across from the kitties.
It's all just full
I got
circle.
goosies.
It's all just
Isn't that cool?
connected cosmically synchronicities.
Yep. I love that.
What is the message that they're sending us? Just that the spirit world is listening, and we can ask them things, which is actually important for me to realize, because I've been having a lot of trouble with writing and with getting my work accepted and things like that. And I'm like, maybe I just need to ask our friends in the spirit world, hey, help me out.
Yeah. And I think we need to listen too.
Yeah.
We need to listen.
So true.
Because honestly, I was so distraught about the kitties. If I hadn't stopped to take that minute and just listen to the air, see his cross, and just listen to the silence, I wouldn't have heard Cooper.
I know.
Right?
Buttons listens to the spirit world.
Yes.
We have to be like Buttons.
We have to be, but that needs to be a t-shirt. Be like Buttons.
I know.
I would buy that t-shirt.
This is a good reminder.
Yeah, it is.
For us. I think I needed this reminder.
I think I did too. Yeah.
Tell us your funny gay pirate story.
Okay, so completely in a different direction. I was walking down one of our streets near where Carly and I live. We're neighbors, and we have a lot of thrift stores. I'm walking by to go in to see if they want to buy some of the things I have and to purge. And out comes this wonderful pink and purple haired queen on a set of roller skates, twirling right out of the store. And he just stopped like he knew me. He said, I recognize you. And it turns out he had been on the picket line, and I think I'd seen him once, but he was just twirling and fabulous, and he didn't need any glitter. He was the glitter, and he was wearing leather and denim, and it was all bedazzled. And he said, darling, you need one of these. Just go buy one. I just got one. I make these. Look, I did this. Do you want to see a picture of a celebrity? Look. And I don't even remember. I was so caught up in his little magic that I told Carly, I don't know who he was showing me. It was some television person, but it was him and his enthusiasm. Aww. And he was just like this whirling little unicorn that came out of nowhere to lift my spirits. You look beautiful, darling. Okay, go in there and get one of these jackets. Okay, bye-bye. I love you. Oh, he said, I love you too. And it was like, oh, I think he does. We only met for a millisecond, and I think he loves me.
Oh, yeah. I love that story.
I know. It was very cool.
Be that person on roller skates, making other people's lives brighter.
Be the glitter.
Yeah. So that is our little segment where we talk about what's the most recent gay pirate thing that happened to you recently. And I want you guys, the listeners, to send in your stories of what is the most gay pirate thing that's happened to you recently. It does not necessarily have to be a logical connection. Like, something I have learned with interviewing people is you don't have to stay on topic. You just have to tell an interesting and or funny story. So if you have a funny story to tell, send it to ourflagmeansfanfiction@gmail.com. You could either type it out and we'll read it, or you can record yourself telling the story and we'll play the recording. I'm looking forward to seeing what our audience has to say.
I can't wait. Yeah.
It'll be really funny. We're going to get into the next segment, which is validation from strangers on the internet. And a recent one came from Errol Shand, who plays Prince Ricky. He actually listened to our Prince Ricky episode. And okay, I'm looking at a screenshot of what he posted on his Instagram, and it's a little bit hard to read because graphic design is his passion. It's a pink background with gray letters. So don't mind me while I squint as I try to decipher what it says. But he shared a screenshot of the Ricky episode, and then he typed, I think it said it's truly an honor to have been part of this world. Thank you for caring as deeply about the journey as I do when I pull on the boots. I think that's what it says.
Yeah, I think so. That's amazing.
And he posted a screenshot and a link to the podcast on Spotify. That made me feel so nice.
Yeah, as it should.
Thank you, Errol Shand.
That's a wonderful, wonderful support and beautiful sentiment.
And so, that shows up in my DMs when people post the story. And he actually tagged my personal Instagram account. And so I replied back to him I'm so honored that you shared the podcast, Errol. Thank you so much, Smiley Face. That means the world to me, and I can't wait to hype whatever you do next. And he wrote back, he wrote, it was great to listen to. And then I did crying emoji, heart emoji. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. Yay.
It made me feel so good. Okay. And then other validation from strangers on the internet on Apple reviews, Apple podcast reviews. Someone named Dolmote Jackson gave us 5 stars and said, listening to them feels like I never left the Hyatt Regency lobby, which I'm told the Hyatt Regency was the gay pirate central at the Emerald City Comic Con. And that made me feel really.
That's wonderful.
Thank you. And Leanne Casey also posted 5 stars and said, as a major OFMD fan, love listening to their insights and fan fiction recommendations. Such positivity.
Oh, that's nice. You know, somebody got touched. She got touched. And I love that.
That makes me feel so good.
As it should.
I'm glad people are liking the podcast. And before we get into our main topic of the day, which is Blackbeard,
yay,
we have to address the latest fandom news, which is David Jenkins is throwing some shade on Twitter.
A little bit.
Let's see, that's 3 hours ago. He tweeted, we're all just relieved he got a healthy bonus, which is in reaction to Zaslav. Well, maybe we should give David Jenkins some plausible deniability and say we have no idea what David Jenkins is tweeting about.
We have no idea.
No idea. But whoever that person is who got a healthy bonus of like whatever, $50 million or some nonsense, probably could have funded his show.
He could have, whoever it was.
I mean, I'm just saying, if I was a CEO of a company and a bunch of people were hating me and a bunch of people were having a really bad vibe about the company that I was running and the stock price was going way, 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 way down, I would be like, you know what? I'm going to be a little hero. I am going to give up a portion of my huge, enormous bonus that I did not earn. And I'm going to fund the most beloved show on my platform and make sure that it gets a 3rd season.
Absolutely.
Because
whoever it is.
Yeah, whoever it is, right? And then you go from being the absolute worst person that everyone hates, and then you become a hero? Maybe not a hero, but at least people go, okay, you're not so bad. We're going to shut up. Hate. And they're going to be like, we're going to stop flooding your Twitter account with all of our hashtags and hate.
Yeah.
We're going to maybe shut up for a little bit, and then we're going to watch our show. And then we're going to tell all our friends to subscribe to your platform, right. And
you'll end up making more money.
Yeah.
Isn't that what it's all about?
I think there's something that the CEOs aren't realizing, which is, see, you guys want to hear why I'm like the worst podcast host in the entire world, because my co-host Tanya is like literally coughing right now, and I'm just powering ahead with whatever
you do. What you gotta do is like choke on a bubble.
You're like fighting for your life over here, and I'm
just like a pirate would.
We're just gonna keep going.
There you go.
No, but are you good?
Yeah.
No,
I'm good.
Your eyes are watering.
I'm good adjacent.
Your eyes are watering, and you got to clear your throat a little bit.
Excuse me, folks. I love that David still has the tongue in cheek. We have a little bit of time since the show got canceled, and he's still just dropping nuggets. I love that. I love that.
I think someday we're going to get all the tea from Dad.
Oh, I would love that.
I think someday we're going to get it.
There'll be a tell-all.
What makes me so mad is David and that whole cast and crew are such talents. And clearly they have a huge, enormous fan base. Why would you, as a company, be so disrespectful to them?
The disrespect
to someone who's so talented.
But that's what the strike was about. Their disrespect to so many that are so talented.
Yeah.
You know, They don't care.
Okay, so this is the Blackbeard Ed Teach episode, and we're gonna focus this episode on Ed Teach, the man, the human. And so, Tanya, you are like the number one Ed Teach fan. What drew you to this character?
He embodies my fantasy bad boy with a sensitive side. And I love someone that has a story. You don't know what the story is. Sometimes the story is harsh. And then they show sensitivity and they show love and they're sweet and sexy. And I just think Blackbeard is all of that. Look at me. I get all giddy. Like I'm sweating right now. I love him. I love him.
What percentage is his appearance? What percentage is the writing and the character development?
Okay. So his physicality is a hard 40-45. Okay, percent. The character development,
and what you like about the physicality is his longness,
his hair,
his aesthetic,
his beard. Yeah, look, I need a 12-step for my history with being attracted to long-haired rocker boys. So there's that. But on top of that, like I love a guy that's dirty, gritty, like Blackbeard. You know he would protect you. We know how he's protected Steed. Like I see that and it's like, that is so attractive. But he's a badass and a bit of a shit too. You know, he's kind of carries all that. And to me, that combination is just hot. I just think it's attractive. Now, that being said, I think the writing and the storytelling, I think they took those elements and they made it work. It became rich. I always liked to see what every episode, I'm like, what's his reaction going to be to things that Steed says and Steed does? Because they always left a little bit of like, oh, is he going to be this way? Is he going to be like, I never really knew. And I loved that. Does that make sense?
They in the early episodes, they left a little, well, one, I mean, Blackbeard tells Izzy that he's going to kill Steed.
There's that.
So that's a good tension development.
Yeah, great. I think the highs and the lows for me with any character, I love the ride that takes you on with each episode, right? And even when we got to know him more and got to know all of them more, but got to know Blackbeard more, sometimes we'd think he's taking a right and he takes a left. I just love that. I think that's titillating.
As a writer, have you been finding that you are writing more characters that have those traits?
I have actually. And I just revisited a script I had that's a paranormal script that I want to do as a short. And I've made the lead a little saucier in some places and a little more unpredictable. Because here's the thing. I think he can be unpredictable, but at the end of the day, here's one thing. He's going to protect Steed, you know, after we get to a certain point. You know, he's also sensitive with a guy that's just gonna, you know, kill somebody at any given moment. That dichotomy is just fascinating to me.
I feel like I've also like learned so much from watching the show and watching like Blackbeard's character development, because I always had a issue with writing too many characters who are just nice in my stories, who are all like different elements of me and who are just little soft babies. And so Blackbeard was my introduction to, I could write a hard character, but that can be soft too. And I can write a dark character. And it doesn't have to be, you know, because there is a stagnant feeling that happens when all my characters are little soft babies. And you need to have a pokey baby in there. You do somewhere.
And I think that's no matter what kind of genre you like, whether it's comedy or dramedy or drama, paranormal, doesn't matter. You need those sticking points. You need to have that controversy. Like I remember just being so disappointed that he said he was going to kill Steed, right? And we're just getting to know everybody. And I was just like, no. And then I was just holding on to this little bit of hope that he was just lying.
Yeah.
You know, and then, but isn't that a fun ride to go on as a viewer? Or
yeah.
reader?
It was like, and there was like, you don't really know if he like really believes that he is going to.
Yeah.
Or if that's something that he's just telling Izzy.
Yeah.
You're right to appease him. You're never quite sure.
And I love that as a viewer, as a reader, And I think that's a testament to the writing.
Mhm.
And I also think that's a testament to the acting. That's a choice that he made, that he took. And we kind of didn't know where he was going with that, Had me so nervous.
Yeah.
Like, what? How could you even be thinking that at this point?
Something I've been thinking the last couple of days in preparation for this episode is thinking about the autism of Blackbeard. Do you identify as neurodivergent at all? Okay, good. So we're both on the same page there.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about the very uniquely autistic experience so I'm going to ask if you guys out there in the audience have this experience, if you're autistic, no autistic people, but there's two types. There's more than two types, but there's two kind of big categories of, and you do have a transition from one to the other, but there's the following the rules autistic, like who's very focused on following the rules. And then there's the I'm going to break all the rules autistic. And a lot of the I'm going to break all the rules autistic people, which I identify with, was at one time a follow the rules autistic. Like the follow the rules autistics can be very pedantic. And in a way, Steed kind of can be that way, right? But Steed has then become a break all the rules autistic. So where was I going with this? I definitely see in Blackbeard something that I really like is the fully embracing the breaking all the rules autistic. But there's always something that holds you back, and that's Izzy for him. Yes, Izzy is that you have to follow the rules about breaking the rules.
Yes.
And I see
that's a t-shirt too.
Yeah. I see this in like the activist community a lot, because I mean the activist community, everyone is autistic. and there's so much pedantic need to follow the rules about breaking the rules in the autistic activist community. We have to do certain things a certain way, and then if you do not do things the way that they have been done before, then you're doing them wrong. And there's nothing us autistics like more than pointing out when you're doing something wrong,
right? or being the one doing it.
That's such an Izzy trait too.
That is an Izzy trait. That is an Izzy trait.
I don't know if I had a question in there, but I was like, what's your experience with the autism of Blackbeard?
I think that there is, what I pick up is a confidence in who he is, and then a very, very scared little boy inside that has the autism. And can anyone tell? Can Steed tell?
The autistic masking.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel like I get that from Blackbeard a lot. There's a lot of masking going on, right? And then, fuck that, this is what I am, right?
Yeah.
Right? So that's, again, another ride. And again, that's writing, and that's Taika's interpretation, which I love, right?
Yeah. And I think he's definitely one of our neurospicy crew.
Oh,
I mean, Taika is fully.
Yeah. I love him too. I love him, and I love him as Blackbeard. I love him.
So you are walking down the street, going to your local coffee shop, and you go in the door, and right in the door, waiting in line, is Taika Waititi. What do you say to him? Go.
Oh my God, Taika, I love you. I was late to your ship, but I am on the ship for the long ride. I am here. I love you. I love what you did with Blackbeard. And can we do a selfie?
I love how people are so brave about this. I need to start asking people what they're going to do when they meet like our favorite people, because I don't know what I would do.
Oh, I've always been comfortable with anybody. Maybe I have 6 planets, as you know, in Aquarius. I don't know. Can I blame that?
Yeah.
But I've always been able to, I could go to a Hell's Angel party and make friends, and I could go to someone that has political beliefs that are 100% opposite from mine, but I'll let them think they made a friend. And I love being able, I think, how do I say this? So people in that position, I think they get a lot of a certain thing: giddiness, silliness, discomfort, nerves. And if you just go up and go like, oh my God, Taika, I freaking love your ship. I am on the ship. Took me a minute to get there. And that starts the conversation.
Okay. So you just go into it with this kind of big, like energy already and just like casual energy. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the conversation will then happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and I'll say I was a little late to the party, and I would also say, you know, how I found this show was on the strike line when I showed up for just a normal picket day and I'm surrounded by pirates. So I was like, what the heck? And that's how I found you. And I love your black beard.
Good. Yes.
That's what I would say.
Excellent.
That's what I would
You're
say.
so brave. Excellent.
And then our conversation would go on. I'd say, have a seat. Did you get a coffee yet? And if you didn't, I'd get my own and I would sit down.
Okay. I'm manifesting your confidence because, there's going to be a time where I'm going to run into these people.
Well, you have.
I mean, I got Reese and Samba.
Yeah.
And you're going to have person. And I was brave. But I guess for those situations, I was technically there on work. So I'm like, I am here on work. So I have to do my work, my job.
But we go with the rule breaking.
I know.
Right. And we've come full circle.
Full circle is like my follow the rules.
To break the rules.
Yeah. My follow the rules autism comes out when I'm doing my job.
Yeah.
I have to do this. I have to do my job.
Yeah.
But when I'm out, like, just if I see them on the street or if I'm at a show and they're just like meandering around the bar or whatever, my biggest fear is I'll be like, there they go, the people I love. And I will sink back like Homer Simpson into the hedge. And I'll be like, well, I saw them from afar. I coveted them. My eyes turned in little heart emojis, but no, did I actually speak to them? Did I actually ask for a selfie? No, because that would be against the rules.
But then if you let that other side, that other autistic break the rules, inner Carly, let it out. Do you know how fun that is?
Yes.
It's so flippin' fun. It is so fun. Just like when we talked about before when I met Con, and I was just like, whatever.
My biggest fear is, okay, if that's like the one chance I get to meet them, and what if I fumble and I make it awkward?
Look,
and then I have to live with the memory of my one interaction with these people that I love. It was awkward. I fumbled, and then it has to stay in my head forever until I die.
Well, there's that.
Yeah.
No, but that's not going to happen, because if you just look at them as we love them for who they are as actors and performers and artists, and if you just come at it with that in your forefront of your thinking, it's better to take that risk than to be Homer in the hedge.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because look at how fun it is. I mean, I know that something could go a little wrong. I like to think I approach it. And I can also read very well. If somebody is not in that space, I was just talking about a celebrity that I have a negative experience with, not because of me, but because of them on the picket line. Mm-hmm. And they were a dick, and not going to name any names, but they were. And that isn't on me. That's on them. I don't care. Yeah.
If you're going to the interaction nice, sensitive to their emotional state, like you don't want to if I feel that like maybe I'm bothering them or whatever, but I can maybe rehearse in my head that nice thing I will say. I will throw a love bomb their direction, and then I will scamper away into the bathroom
without going in the head,
deflecting all eye contact.
Here's the thing. I think, and I know when I run into Tyke at the coffee shop, look, they love to have their work acknowledged. Mm-hmm. I'm an actor.
This is true.
I love to have somebody go, oh, I saw you in something, which would mean I got some work, which would be great. They are moved by that. And if your approach is chill, I think it's different for them, because they get so many people that are nervous that if you just go up and go, oh my God, I am on your ship, they love that. Whatever works for you, whatever your little spiel is, let it out, right?
Yeah. Because
I don't want you to have another Steve moment and you didn't get a selfie.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to have a picture.
Yeah,
You've
one of
got
these days I'm
manifest
manifesting.
that you. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, speaking of, oh, we should have mentioned this in the fandom news part, but Reese is having this weird desert show thing in 29 Palms on June 7th, out in the desert, like an absolute cult leader.
So where do you sign up?
It's like, well, I was thinking, like, wouldn't it be fun if, like, you and I go and we could do a podcast on the road out there?
Yeah.
And I mean, this is also my way of, like, hijacking your car, because you are a card person. Yes. No, if not, I would rent a car.
Yeah. If not, no.
You know,
with or without sheep.
No sheep. No sheep in the car this time. Sheep. But thank you.
Carly has sweet sheep. If they needed to go for a ride, that's so cool with me.
Yeah. Do you want to go? What do you think?
I would love that.
Yeah.
And then he'd come over to the podcast too if we set up.
Shut up.
Come on. Why not try?
Well, what we'll do is we'll record the podcast on the way there. I'll bring, like, either a digital audio recorder or, like, my laptop, and we'll probably just, like, record commentary, like, beforehand, like, talk about our experiences or whatever. And then we'll watch the show, and then we'll record, like, commentary and, like, afterwards.
Yeah.
And whatever.
And we'll go over to him and
shut up!
No. So if you're going with me, this could happen. Just so you know, okay. I used to be a publicist. I don't care. All you can say is no and thank you anyway. That's it. You go, oh.
And I would die.
Why? No. This is gonna happen. His voice will be on this mic. That's gonna happen.
No, it's actually gonna be my rugged mic.
Okay.
That I will bring on the road with us. Not this one. This one's too delicate.
Okay. It could happen.
But see, that's pedantic autism coming on. I have to be specific about what mic I'm bringing.
Whatever mic you have, how about that?
Yeah.
We're going to manifest that he's going to be on it. Why not? You know what? He's out in the desert. What else is he going to do after the show?
Well, he has to, like, plan his cult leader, like, robe that he's going to make us all wear out in the desert.
And the Kumbaya, like, song that we all have to sing.
Chant. We have to get back on track.
I know.
This is my fault. So you know a little bit about real Blackbeard.
Long before our flag, I've always been fascinated with pirate culture. Even as a little girl, I was interested in Vikings and pirates and anyone that was sort of bad, but also had a sensitive side, which Vikings, that's historical, you know, they love their family and then they go murder somebody else's. So
you do have all those planets in Aquarius. So Aquarius is the outsider. Yeah.
That's true. I love an underdog. I love an outsider. So yeah, I always, boy, when I heard Johnny Depp was going to play a pirate in a pirate movie, I couldn't wait for Pirates of the Caribbean. I just was salivating. And I remember I went to the movie by myself to see the first one because I didn't want anyone talking to me or offering me fucking popcorn during that movie. Like, I need complete focus. So yeah, in my bookcase, I have quite a few pirate historicals, books and stuff. And I think that what brings me to part of my complete lust for Blackbeard with our flag is they took Blackbeard and what many books say he is. Who knows? Your girls on Saturday will know a little more. But, you know, an infamous criminal, right? A murderous creep who was dirty and stinky and gross and mean and everything. And they took him and they made him a man that had a sensitivity, who had a beautiful beard that I would love to be a part of.
And they put little bows in
and they put little bows in. Oh my God, I love that. Can I tell you how much I love
and
that?
His little bun, his little
man bun.
So tell me all your feelings that you're having right now.
I just want that to be my husband. I just love it. The way he is with Steed, when they're both wearing their frilly little
French party outfits.
That's one of my favorite wardrobe moments.
So good.
He's so confident in it. Like, he's just chill. Like, yeah, I'm wearing bows in my beard.
What are your top 3 favorite Blackbeard outfits?
I love him in the robe. I love him in the robe.
The depression robe.
Yes. Yeah. I just love him in that robe. And
he's so pretty with his face shaven.
He's so pretty.
And
so
his
vulnerable.
long hair.
Long hair.
He looks so feminine. I love
and
that.
see, I love that. I love a masculine man that owns his feminine. I've always been attracted to that. And he embodies that. When he is so vulnerable like that in that robe, oh my God, that's hot.
So where does Depression Robe rank above the French Party outfit or below? Like, where does it rank in relation?
You know what?
That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, Depression Robe is actually a notch above our bows in the beard, because
is Depression Robe your number one Blackbeard outfit?
No, I think his traditional leathers would be number one.
Okay.
His traditional leathers are just amazing. Number two would be the Depression Robe, and number three, bows and beard.
Nice. Where does the potato sack cat collar outfit fall in?
Okay, that is a fun ride. That's a fun ride. If I'm honest, like, I'm kind of in the point with my Blackbeard fascination and lust in anything he does and wears would be great by me.
Yeah.
It's probably 4, 5,
okay,
maybe 6.
Okay.
But honestly, all of them matter.
Oh, where does, when they change into the British Navy uniform with the sleeves and the lace and his hair is flowing?
Okay. That is right up there with the best of the historical rom-com covers on any novel. I mean, that was
so hot. That was really
hot.
That
was good.
I'm not even attracted to men, and that was really hot. That with the British Navy outfit,
wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was power.
Yeah,
it was control. But then this is the good thing about what he does with Blackbeard is power and control and all of those yummy things that make a masculine guy. But inside, he's Blackbeard that still took his foot and touched Steed's foot. Inside that uniform is still that guy.
Yeah.
And I don't forget that. I don't forget that.
Yeah. For me, I like the British Navy outfits because they're so feminine, because they have so much lace and they have so much decoration on them. Yeah. And when he puts it on with his long flowing hair, he looks very feminine.
He does.
And he looks almost Indian. There's like a certain Indian level of it. Like, it makes me think of like a Bollywood movie almost a little bit with all of that decoration.
There comes, like, I look at that particular wardrobe at him and it's like, God, that guy makes me feel safe.
That's so interesting that so many hetero people go into wanting safety with and protectiveness with
it's so man. Not 2024, is it? It's just not yet. But I like that feeling. I like it.
Interesting. I'm just curious about, where does that come from? Were there situations where you felt unsafe and that you felt like you needed protection from a masculine person?
Not growing up, I had a super safe, blessed childhood. There's been a couple times, as an adult, where I felt like I wasn't protected, and there's a part of me that maybe it's from a past life. I've always thought this, like, a little bit. I'll burn my bras with the best feminist, but I also like a guy that's going to put that umbrella over my head and protect me on the outside of the sidewalk. And I feel like Blackbeard does that for Steed. He's always looking out for him. He's always got that umbrella ready, right? I love that.
We've talked a lot about your past lives stuff.
Yeah.
That a lot of stuff comes up. It's really fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have a generational difference between you and I. So I'm just very fascinated by that idea of, because if anything, I would say, maybe this is because of my background, but I would say masculine presenting men are the opposite of safety, because masculine men who insist on looking masculine, those are not safe.
Those aren't
guys.
Safe. But see, here's a lot of difference. For me, those masculine guys that are like Blackbeard, that underneath, is going to touch your foot when you're getting, thrown on the ground on the pirate ship when you're being raided, and he's still going to lean over and touch your toe. That's the beautiful sensitivity and love. And I just, you know what I mean? But they're masculine, but that's there.
Maybe what, like, really all people of all genders of all generations too, are craving is men who have sensitivity, like, because in male characters who have sensitivity, because I feel like all men would probably be better off if they stopped being such fucking losers and like learned how to self-interrogate and be introspective and think about why they insist on being so unpleasant.
But how would you feel if your Steed, if he came along and said, Carly, I've got the umbrella. I'm going to protect you. Don't just come up on the sidewalk. I'm going to walk on the outside. I'm going to make you feel safe right now. How would that make you feel if Steed did that?
Oh, like if someone like Steed or Restart me. Yeah. Oh, yes. You can totally. Yeah. Hold an umbrella for me. totally okay with that.
Okay,
Yeah. But the thing is, the average guy out in the world who wants to like offer me a favor, it's like, oh Jesus, no thanks. I'm fine. I got it. You know, I've even gotten to the point where I don't even want to like go out to coffee with men or hang out with them unless they're gay or married, because I just feel so unsafe with around men. And I feel so, and even just talking to men is so unpleasant. They're so, the way that they are socialized to, you know, talking to women is so nice, you know, and it's just like, if they accidentally say something wrong, like, oh, they'll immediately apologize. But like men, they double down on things that they say. And it's like, they say something, you're like, that hurt my feelings. They'll double down on why they didn't hurt your feelings. You know what I mean?
Some will. I think there's a lot that you're right. But, you know, I think it happens from the second we come onto this earth, what our experience is going to be. And I had a dad that was,
that's the difference between loving. You and I. I had the opposite situation. You had a loving dad. I did.
And I would talk to him about boyfriend problems. I could tell him I'm on my period. I got cramps. I could say anything to him. He was so gentle and loving. And I'll tell you what, it set a very high bar.
There you go.
And it's very hard for me to have had relationships, because even the good ones, it's like it is a daddy bar that was really, really high.
That is so important, so good. I feel like that is maybe what everyone needs, really. Is you need to have positive male role models from an early age.
Yeah, from an early age. And I think that is the key. And
I didn't have that. I've always had negative experiences with men. Yeah. And so I'm like, I'm done talking to them. I'm done going to coffee with them. I'm done trying to be friends with them.
Of course, things store up in our life.
Yeah.
Whatever our personal experiences are. But I do love, like with our pirates, you know, they give all of us, no matter what your background is, a new set of eyes.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what good storytelling does.
Good storytelling does it. Yeah. And this is good storytelling, you know?
Yeah. And it makes full three-dimensional people, and storytelling makes really good storytelling, like David Jenkins does, makes people even more three-dimensional than they are in real life.
It's true.
What unanswered questions do you still have about Blackbeard?
I would love to know if pre-Steed, did he love a man? Did he ever love a man? I mean, we know he had sex with men, but did he love a man? Is Steed his real first love? Did he fit into some stereotype of some badass, you know, chest beating, hetero male, hitting up the winches, blah, blah, blah? Or did he ever love anybody before? I would love to know what that answer is.
What do you think the answer is?
I think Steed's his first love, deep love. I really, really do. Male or female. I think it's just, it is his first everything. There's no way that, I can't say no way, but I would like to think.
He certainly comes across as inexperienced in real relationships.
He does. I don't think it's a gender thing there. It's a relationship.
And Steed has the same sort of inexperience in real relationships.
Right. Some of it I think is gender, and some of it I think is human. Right.
Yeah.
You know, and so, but I am curious about his romantic liaisons pre-Steed.
So we do know that he and Calico Jack had sex. What do you think?
I just met Will Arnett too, and I wish I would have said.
Oh, really?
Did I not tell you?
No.
Oh, he was so nice. I got the cutest picture with him.
How long ago? Recently?
Yeah, at a screening and I met Bradley Cooper with the screening a couple months ago, the SAG screening for Maestro, and he was the moderator, and he was fantastic. Here's a perfect example. This would have been great. I wish you'd have been there with me.
I know,
because so here's the thing: Will Arnett is the coolest guy, and I meant to ask a Calico question, but what happened is I got enamored with his coolness.
Yeah.
But what happened was we were sitting in the front row, and I sneeze big time, like and it's like, and Will Arnett, because I'm in the front row, I'm like right in front of him. He stops his conversation, he looks, and he just went gesundheit, and I just went, thank you. So he picks right up. And then he turns back and says to the audience, hey, it would have been rude for me to not say anything. So they go and they do their thing. So when they're leaving, because we're parked in the parking lot, again, Carly, this is how it's going to be if we go see Reese. Okay, so just be ready. So I'm with a friend who's probably going to be more Homer in the hedges like you, right?
Yeah.
And so I see Bradley Cooper was, I have to say, very lovely. He went out to, because we're parked in the SAG parking lot. No one can get in, but he went over to the paparazzi and signed. He was very affable. He was really sweet. I went over to him, and he had a really beautiful moment that he talked about his late father that reminded me of mine. And I just went over to Bradley and said, thank you so much for saying what you said. It really touched me. And can we get a selfie? Got a selfie. He was so sweet. And then I see Will coming out in his beautiful big black SUV. And I went over, my friend's just standing there going, what the fuck is even happening? And so I just went over and went, oh my God, Will, thank you so much for blessing my sneeze. And he's like, was that you? And I go, yes, that was so cool of you. And he goes, well, you sneezed, right? And then literally he was just like, are we taking a selfie? Like joking around. Like, and I go, yeah, we are taking a selfie. And so he just was fun and he was playful. And then my friend is like, I want in that picture. I'm like, get over here. And then, we were joking with him because he didn't have any cards. He just was winging his questions, right? As a moderator.
Nice. And like I'm doing here today.
Kind of like, yeah, you're very Will Arnett. And so my friend said, hey, that was great moderating. You just were winging it or wunged it, or what do you do when you do that? He goes, I wung it. And we're like, oh, you wunged it. And we had this whole thing. And I actually tagged him in the picture and said, thanks for winging it and blessing my sneeze. He didn't reply, but the moment was there and I got a good picture.
Yay!
So see, that's what's going to happen with you and Reese.
I am so flustered right now by even you saying the possibility.
I'm going to make it happen. I love
Shut up! I hate you so much.
You love me. You're going to be thanking me afterwards the next day. By June 9th, it'll all be good. I'll have a couple days for you to like calm down. Yeah.
And then we'll just be editing these podcast episodes. Okay. So what would you like to see in season 3, Blackbeard? What would you like to see Blackbeard do in season 3?
Propose.
Yeah, we got to see the wedding. Okay, how do you envision Blackbeard proposing?
I envision him in his sweet Blackbeard, messed up kind of way, doing a candlelit like dinner, setting it out for Steed while he's gone, and then he brings him down to surprise him. And he's just kind of made some mistakes, he's burnt the food or a little something, he tips the candle over. There's some mayhem and foolishness going on, and it doesn't matter. It's endearing. And he just gets down on his knee and says, screw all this, the food, the candle, will you marry me?
Aww.
Just boom.
And then how do you envision the wedding?
I envision it really on the beach and just beautiful and natural, just sweet music and seagulls coming around and circling and I just feel like it would be just almost like a beautiful drum circle of love. Does that make sense?
Wow. Yeah.
I can see it right now.
Something that I think would be really cute is Blackbeard wanting to propose, but not sure how to do it. And so he goes around to each of the crew members trying to get their advice on how he should do it.
That's cute.
And then the final thing is like a ridiculous amalgamation of everything that everyone told him that just makes no sense and leaves Steve confused.
I love that. Which brings us to the question about what's the most hilarious thing. That's funny. That's funny. That could be really hilarious.
And then the proposal doesn't even happen because Steve just doesn't quite know what's happening.
Right. But they have to eventually propose. Yes, eventually.
And then what eventually happens? Does Steed end up doing it?
Yeah, that could be because he's getting confident. He's getting like
something that I write a lot in my fics though is that Steed is super traumatized by being married, and so the idea of marriage is extremely, even to Blackbeard, who he loves, is like Blackbeard wants to get married. Steed is, every time that topic comes up, he has a panic attack, that sort of thing. So
need them married.
Oh no, I know. I need them married. I need them married, but it makes me, and I'm just throwing this out there to fanfic writers. It makes me think of what are all the things that could go wrong and be hilarious before we finally get there, and it'll be a sweet moment or whatever. But like, what are the opportunities for hilarity?
I think somehow I could see some where there's a separation right before the proposal, that they get separated, whatever craziness goes on.
Yeah.
And then they have a whole episode of them trying to find their way back to each other. And then they get there and they're all like awkward and like, no, I wasn't, that kind of thing where they're just completely, I'm fine. You didn't need to come look for me. That kind of thing. And in the end, of course, we've got how many audience members there. The whole ship is like, just kiss it. Just marry him already. Right. They're all just like, yeah. Well, I would like it if Blackbeard would marry me, but if you can't, then, a steed wedding would be fantastic. So does it make sense for you for Blackbeard, what I find and all of us Blackbeard lovers, like, does it make sense for you, the leather and the vulnerability and the badassery and all that is?
Well, I find Blackbeard the most attractive when he's being soft, and when those soft moments come out, then I'm like, oh, okay, I like him a lot. I'm more of a steed girl. So it would be interesting to do a survey of steed girls versus Blackbeard girls, and
that would be interesting.
What the differences are.
That would be.
So the leather aesthetic has never really been one that appealed to me, but I like the steed Ed relationship because I love the opposites. I love the fancy with the leather. And so that's the thing, the leather by itself, but it's the fancy with the leather. It's the contrast. That's what I like. And I like the relationship. And I like this tough guy and the fancy. And I love that Blackbeard loves all Steed's fanciness.
I love that too. That's another favorite moment for me, is when he first finds Steed's closet.
Yes, that's a great. God, that's such a good writing.
Such good writing and acting,
and such a good concept
to
come up with. Steed is going to show Blackbeard his auxiliary wardrobe, and Blackbeard is going to be totally into it. Brilliant. Fuck, how are these people so smart? How did they come up with such good ideas?
It raises writing to this level. Like it was,
and it makes us all better writers, because we're like, look at what they did.
Look what they were able to do. And honestly, those scenes are so sensitive and sweet. They're just chef's kiss. They really are. When he's first going in, Blackbeard, and just looking at that closet, I just love it. It's like a little boy in a candy shop. Like, I would love to meet Taika, because I've been a fan of his for a very long time.
What's your number one favorite Taika movie?
It has to be What We Do in the Shadows. That comedy, that writing, that was just, it was wonderful. It was such a fun ride. And it's funny, it's so maybe I don't get it, but I was just talking to a friend today that doesn't get our flag or how we.
It's so baffling whenever I meet someone who doesn't get it. What
I just talked to somebody
brain
today.
Chemistry is not happening for you in your brain. I need to understand. Let's take your brain into a laboratory and cut it open. And dissect it and understand what is not working correctly. Tell us about your friend. What does she say? I need to know. I need to understand.
Okay. She said, because I told her I was coming to do the podcast, and she's like, for the pirate show? And I was like, the gay pirate show. Yes. And she said, I couldn't get into that. I go, how many episodes did you watch? She goes, I tried a couple of episodes that I just couldn't get into it. It wasn't for me. And I was like, how could it not be for you? She goes, how could it be for you? I go, I freaking love it. I love the timing. Timing for me is a big deal in all storytelling. But
it accomplishes so much so fast. It's like it's almost like a Simpsons episode in a way. How just so much is there
in a short period of time. The beat, when you see beats getting hit, when lines are delivered and moments are, I freaking love that on any show. And to me, it's very hard to find with this kind of comedy writing. I just think it's well executed above and beyond on his shows, and What We Do in the Shadows is the same thing. So anyway, so she was just like, I said, would you try to watch it again? And because, we remember we got my friend Carrie,
Carrie wasn't into it either.
And she ended up watching the whole thing.
And now does she love it? No. What the fuck is wrong with these people?
And usually we have the same sense of humor. We have the same sense of attraction. We love usually all the same shows. She just was like, she goes, it was cute, but I don't get you and Carl. There's a lot of people like you guys. Like, yeah. We're not the only ones.
Yeah. There needs to be a scientific study. Why is it that there's this portion of us that our brains just lock onto this and we're like, this is literally the greatest thing ever made. And I need to talk about it constantly.
And watch it constantly.
And watched it constantly.
Yeah.
And I become a better person because of this thing. And this is everything. And then people who are like, I don't get it. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Well, what?
Like, seriously, what? Because I feel like I will never fully be understood as a human being by those people.
I know.
Right? I feel like I will never be got by. And I love my friends that have said this.
Yeah.
Love them so much.
Yeah.
But they'll never fully understand me.
Yeah, no, because literally like 99% of my brain now is this show.
When's the last time you watched it?
I actually have not watched it for really since canceling my Max account.
Okay.
Which happened when, January 9th.
Yeah.
Was that?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I do have a hard drive of the episodes pirated.
Yeah.
But I haven't brought myself to watch it again. But I watched clips. I'm a big watcher of clips.
Oh, see, I'm the opposite. I want to have the whole thing on. Even when like I'm just doing stuff, I need it to be my white noise. So I put that on. I might be in the other room doing the dishes or whatever. I need to hear their voices in the background.
And the cool thing about Tanya, you aren't really a super online fan. Like there's this whole online fandom with the Discords and the Twitter and the Instagram. You're not an online fan. You're an offline fan.
I'm an offline fan.
You're
big time.
And you do the whole watch it over and over again thing.
I do. It's yummy.
So it's not just an online fan experience.
Not at all. And I just want to crawl into the scenes.
World. Yeah.
And God, it's such a regret that as an actor, I was really hoping to have a moment to do anything on that. I mean, I would have, it could have been background. It could have been a sneeze. I would have been craft services. I would have asked them if they needed licorice. I would do anything to have been just have the experience of being cast and crew on that show.
Yeah.
That would have been amazing. And I actually thought it might happen because we were getting to know people out on the picket line that are associated, and to have it just like, gone.
You know what we could do? Because you are not a fanfic reader really yet. I could tell you about some fics that I think you will enjoy.
Okay.
And maybe eventually
I will get there.
You will watch.
It's not for any reason other than just time and haven't got to it. It's not because I do want to.
And do you read on Kindle or do you just mostly do like books?
Yeah. I'm a lover of an original book and I love,
Yeah, that's the thing. Like
I can't get to I have a
Kindle. Fanfic is a reading on the screen sort of experience.
Yeah. Which is, I'll still go there.
Yeah. So what I do is I download them onto my Kindle. I save them as PDFs. I download them on my Kindle and I read them that way. Mm-hmm. But okay, so I did not make a list. This is just off the top of my head of things that I think you will like. There is a short fic called Always and Forever. And this is off the top of my head. I forget who the author is, but I'll find it. Mm-hmm. And what it is a short fic where this is like after season 1, Ed and Steed meet up somehow at Spanish Jackie's and get really drunk. They wake up the next morning and it starts the next morning. And at some point they had agreed to get married and they are legally married. But when they wake up, they're drunk and hungover and pissed at each other. And they can't remember actually getting married.
Oh.
So they have to go to somewhere to get it annulled, to get this priest who will annul it. And while they are on the boat to wherever this priest is, Steed decides he's going to be a good husband. And he's trying to kind of make up for all the bad husband stuff he did with Mary, but he's trying to be a good husband for Blackbeard, and Blackbeard is angry with him. It's post season 1, and eventually Steed woos Blackbeard back, and it's
I love that. I want to read that immediately. Send that to me.
Okay, I'll send it to you. And it's short. It's not super long.
That's good. That's appealing.
And then if you want to read something longer, I just read something called The Island. Now, this is Steady Hands, which is Steed, Blackbeard, and Izzy eventually it's a love story with all 3 of them. It gets crazy. But what this is Steed wakes up one morning at this after season 2 in the inn, and he's like sleepy. He rolls over to like snuggle with Ed, but it's Izzy. It's not Ed. And Steed starts screaming, is like, "You're dead. Why are you in bed with me? What's going on?" And he's freaking out. And what happened was there's a sliding doors sort of situation where he accidentally woke up in the version of reality where Izzy was alive and Ed had been the one who died, who really died.
Oh, whoa.
And then he's trying to get back to the other world where Ed is still alive. But in this version of reality, Izzy and Steed ended up like having a relationship as a way of healing through their trauma of Blackbeard Ed's death.
Very Outlander. That happens.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
At a certain point.
I need to read Outlander. I'm like I'm very overwhelmed by how much is involved in
it's a commitment.
Starting into
it's like a good marriage. I have been reading those books long before the show. A roommate 20 years ago gave me one and I was hooked. I've read the entire series through 3 times. And then the show, I've watched that through many times and it does translate.
You've been telling me for a while to get into this, and I've been scared. I've been literally scared because I'm like, this is going to be a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. Not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sugarcoat. It's a whole fucking thing. But it's a thing you were not. It's a beautiful ride too.
Okay.
But there is that particular scene is there's something like that happens.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, towards the end of the last couple of books. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
But
that's mind-blowing though. I can hardly picture that.
And then eventually the other Ed, the Ed who survived, comes into this version of reality with his Steed, and so there ends up being 2 Steeds.
It's enough for everyone to go around, I guess.
And I actually read this for our mini-sode that's coming up next week. So you can hear me read the first 3 chapters.
Okay.
And it's a long fic. It's 80,000 words. So it's a whole book length. Wow. I read it though in 2 days because I just blazed through it. The second half of it is very pornographic. Wow. You can imagine.
Yeah.
I would understand if someone's like, I'm going to read the first 40,000 and that's my book. I'm good there. Yeah. And if you are that type of person who enjoys the pornography, then you have 40,000 words of pornography.
So in other words, you're saying there's options.
There's options to enjoying this. So there's another one that I think I've sent this one to you. It's called All You Left Me Was a Pearl. And this was written after season 1. And Steed is determined to woo back Blackbeard. And it's so funny. It's so wholesome. I love the writing is so good. I was like, this needs to be like a real published book. So that one was like probably like my favorite book of 2022. It's this fanfic called All You Left Me Was a Pearl. That's how much I loved it. And then there is Blackbeard's Hostage, which is...
Yes, please.
I think I've mentioned it on the show before. Steed is a gentleman. It's kind of an alternate universe. Steed is a gentleman. I forget it. He's like waiting for a ship or something with all his luggage. And Blackbeard comes along and thinks like, oh, you would be good to kidnap. I could hold you for ransom. And Steed's like, okay, you could kidnap me. And he's like a very willing kidnap victim.
Wow.
And he's very devoted to being a very good kidnap victim, and he's very into it. And Blackbeard at first is miffed, like, why are you so into this? But then, eventually they're both into it.
I like that. I like that. That's good conflict.
Very well written.
Yeah. Okay. I do want to read them. I absolutely do. I will.
Yeah. So those are my fics I think that you would like, that are Blackbeard centric.
Yeah.
And how will we wrap this up? What are you up to next? What are you working on? What are you doing?
I am helping a friend with her solo show in the Fringe Fest, the Hollywood Fringe Fest. And so I've been to a couple of the mixers called office hours, which are really, really fun. Great support from actor to directors to producers that are really supporting each other's art. And so I'm helping her with some marketing and stage management and stuff. So very busy with that. And it's, boy, there are so many amazing shows that are going to be at the Fringe this year. Just you name it, there's one about it.
Oh, cool.
It's really diverse. It's amazing. Yeah. So I can't wait to see all the theater. Yeah. And you'll be going to her show.
Yeah, I'm going
Pamela
to her show.
Ben's Astrologically Screwed.
Yeah.
So she can't wait for you to see that.
I will. Yeah. I will check it out.
So what about you? What do you got on deck?
Well, you just made me remember I want to get my astrology podcast, The Astrology of Terrible Things, up and running again, because I see you people, you audience members here hopping over and viewing The Astrology of Terrible Things podcast. And I apologize that it's been since December since I've updated it. So I want to do an episode. I want to have an episode with your friend because she has her whole comedy show is about her terrible astrology chart. And a specific
right, that tormented her.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a dramedy. That's a whole concept.
I want to talk to her about that on the podcast. I want to talk to you about, because my idea is I want to do an episode. I've in the past done the astrology of terrible things that have happened in the past. And I want to do the astrology of terrible things that will happen in the future. And I want to talk about 2025, which is going to be a shit year.
It's going to be something else.
It's going to be shit year. If you're wondering, we're going to talk about all the different ways that it's going to be shit.
Possibilities of shit are endless.
We're laughing now, but look back on this episode in 2026 and cry.
I mean, really.
The collapse of democracy. Which is true. You guys can probably see where this is going.
I want to marry Blackbeard right now because now's our time.
And I also have a thing of moving forward in the publishing world and a possible book thing.
That's right.
I'm not going to jinx it by talking about it, but I will put out positive things.
Good
things are moving forward with it. And
yay. That was fun taking your book.
Yeah. And thank you, Tanya. Tanya came to a book fest with me.
That was really
last weekend. And
it was nice seeing all those young people interested in reading.
Yeah.
I love that.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Cool. And where can people find you on the internet?
I am Tanya Dixon, DICKSON.IG on Instagram. And I am not on Facebook. I am not on TikTok. And I am now pulling away from the X. So I'm just going to pretty much be, I can't with the X.
Trying to get away from it too.
It's hard. It's taken me a hot minute.
And if you want to show that our flag related content still has an audience, then give us a nice little rating and a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever you get your podcasts, because it really helps.
That's right. Thanks for having me come on and talk about Blackbeard.
Thank you for being here. Bye.